The Life and Legacy of Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda by Axon Piri. If I had a chance to pen my thoughts in the condolences book of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, I would have emphatically wrote this: our lives are predestined, but we make choices at every stage of life. Dr. Kaunda, you were predestined to be born on 28th April 1924 in Chinsali, born from both parents who were teachers. We may not understand the reason as to why you were always teaching us about the golden rule of the Bible. However, knowing that your father was a missionary answers all innuendos. History of being first was so much in your blood because your mother was the first female African teacher in Northern Rhodesia. On a lighter note, Jesus was a teacher, and the one writing this is a teacher. Therefore, I cannot ask why you followed your parents' route of becoming one. As someone said, if you cannot read, you cannot lead. You read much on the writings of Mahatma Gandhi that you said his texts went straight to your heart. When I look back in trying to connect the dots, Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. In the archives of history, it is well found that in 1949, you entered politics and became the founding member of the Northern Rhodesia African National Congress, of which in 1953, you went to Lusaka and became the Secretary General of the African National Congress under the presidency of Harry Mwangankumbula. You came into that strategic position at a time when the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland came to effect. The price for active mobilization of your party was the 2 months imprisonment in 1955 together with your president, Harry Mwangankumbula, of which after this, you drifted apart for different reasons and formed Zambia African National Congress in October 1958. You made business in carrying out the vision and the dream that most Zambians trapped together with your childhood friend Simon Mansa Kapwepwe. The vision is older than the visionary. A dream is older than a dreamer. The vision and the dream was a free Zambia. You came in as a visionary for the long-awaited freedom with the newly formed party. Nonetheless, the end result was the banning of your party in 1959, and you were sentenced to 9 months imprisonment. The oppressors didn't know that imprisoning you didn't mean imprisoning the dream and the vision. It was witnessed that Mainza Chona and other fearless nationalists broke away from the African National Congress and formed the United National Independence Party in 1959. When you came out of prison in 1960, Chona laid the baton in your hands to carry on with the struggle. You deserve credit because you didn't relent, but overcome the tough responsibility that cowards cannot. A certain man said, change does not throw on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. And so, we must straighten our backs and work for our freedom. A man cannot ride you unless your back is bent. To make your back straight enough not to accommodate the colonizers, you visited Martin Luther King Jr. in 1960. By 1961, you led the civil rights disobedience campaign in northern Zambia that came to be known as Cha-Cha-Cha. The campaign was not a child's play. These measures forced your moves against the colonialists, and you ended up being the Minister of Local Government and Social Welfare in 1962. You realized that the vision of the mine workers when they went for strikes wasn't ending by making a visionary as a minister. You went on becoming the Prime Minister in 1963 and the first African President of the Zambian Republic on 24th October 1964. A name Zambia widely known to have been driven from the mighty Zambezi River. However, I don't think I would be wrong to say it is plagiaristic term from Zambi, hence a nation named after God. Leadership reigned in you because at independence you faced many challenges that were almost putting the achieved freedom at stake as stipulated by Andrew Sardanis and Richard Hall. With your courage, strategy, and strength, you managed to face the Lumpa Church uprising led by your babyhood friend Alice Mlenga, commonly known as Lenshina or Regina, the Barose Agreement, taking control of the mines, the Baratian Wars of Southern Africa, rural-urban migration, manpower deficit by having only 100 university graduates by independence. Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland, though ended in 1963, we had jointly owned projects such as the Central African Airways, Central African Power Corporation, Rhodesian Railways, and Kariba Dam. Not only that, our economy was a monotype, as it entirely depended on copper, and also the problem of the unilateral declaration of independence in Southern Rhodesia UDI. Historians such as Clarence Chongo, Douglas Anglin, and Andrew Roberts have given you a fair score on how you showed leadership in these dire times. Papa, history has decorated you with the opening of the country with tarred roads to bring the Hell Run to a close. Kandawe coal mine opened in February 1966, improving and expanding of Mpulungu port facilities. Zambia-Tanzania Road Services Limited, established on 12 May 1966. You understood the ideas being propelled by Calvin Bwalia Fuge in his masterpiece Zambia Must Prosper by coming up with various industries under Industrial Development Corporation Indico in 1966. Without your vigilance in 1973, we wouldn't have been talking of your expansion of Tanzania-Zambia Mafuta Tazama, opened on 8 December 1966 to have a well celebrated in any oil refinery. You never neglected the birthday of my mother by showing how you worked so tirelessly while Julius Kambarage Nyerere to complete the Tanzania-Zambia Railway Tazara in 1975. The Masterclass Kafue Gorge Hydro Power Station opened in 1972, built with the assistance of Yugoslavia, and the Caribbean North Bank opened in 1976 in Siavonga with the help of Italy. You led the nation, showing that you were idealistic, as it can be seen in the Transition Development Plan, Phase to Fourth National Development Plans, Mlungushi Reforms of 1968, Material Reforms of 1969, the 1970 Economic Reforms, the 1977 Educational Reforms. Papa, as just Dr. Sishua said, that the world will remember you for many reasons, as a freedom fighter, a repressive leader who enforced a one-party rule, peace-loving statesman who considered defeat in 1991, a man who fought corruption with all his might. Some will also remember you for KK11. Nevertheless, Grandpa Muchizia, I will remember you as a national builder who fought tribalism to squash a divide and rule principle that is being celebrated by some now. Grandpa, my heart bleeds when I see the propellers of tribalism calling you their founding father. Indeed, you are a tree that gave shade to even those that don't mean well to this great nation. If it was within my power, I would have let them find their own founding father who loved dividing, because claiming to have this great man of the soul as their founding father is hypocrisy of the highest order. But going by your love for oneness through the greatest philosophy of one Zambia, one nation, I will go by the words of your son Colonel Panji, who has encouraged all of us to emulate the philosophy of you who is joining Levi Mwanawasa, Frederick Chiluba, and Michael Sata Temba Spark. I didn't have a chance to be touched by the white handkerchief, but I know there's something greater that touched me from you, and that is the love for the nation. By the time you are retiring, you only had $8,000 in your account after serving for 27 years and holding the nation together in those entire years while in power. You taught us in the word of Professor Lumumba that the blood of Jesus Christ is thicker than the blood of a tribe. Like many others, I wanted that we have a centenary celebration of your life in 2024, which I know we'll do posthumously. God has called you at 97. We thank Him always because He knows better than any man. I want you to know that the country is celebrating your life, but also grieving for the great stream that quenched every fire has dried up. We are crying because that shoulder to lean on is gone. The coronavirus is debauching. People have died for different reasons. Permanent secretaries, Justice Irene Mambilima, Levi Sakala, aspiring candidates, former ministers, mothers, fathers, and youths. How we cry. Africa is facing a reality that all the founding fathers of the land are gone. Who go and speak to the Malians like you? Who tell the South Africans that Africa is one? Who encourage other African leaders to concede defeat in times when they lose elections? Who guide the African Union? The answer is in those who carry on with your legacy. You have joined Kwame Nkrumah, Ahmed Sekou Toure, Jomo Kenyatta, Muammar al-Gaddafi, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Haile Selassie, Gamal Nasser, Ben Bella, Nelson Mandela, Julius Nyerere, Nobi Keita, Patrice Lumumba, Samora Machel, Antonio Neto, Robert Mugabe, John Pombe Magufuli, only to mention a few. Rest in power.